Okay, Counselor Farrell.
You're good.
All right. I will call this meeting of the Lawrence County Commissioners to order. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a brief moment of silence. Tracy, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here. We have a quorum. I will note that the meeting is being recorded both for our live stream, which is going out to YouTube for any member of the public who wishes to view it either now or after the recording is finalized, as well as internally with the microphone setup that we have here for our own internal purposes, compiling the minutes. That being said, row officer reports or comments. I'm looking around the room. I'm not seeing too many row officers sitting with us today. Public comments. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the board? Again, I'm not seeing too many members of the public. So we'll move on to fiscal and contractual. Here we're publicly awarding the 2020 Lawrence County Bridge Approach Paving Project to Protec Asphalt Maintenance Incorporated. I believe that there was one bid amount for this project, and the bid amount is in the amount of $24,735.25. I think this is the first time I've encountered a bid since being here, at least that I can remember. Dan, how do we usually handle this?
Yeah, and maybe Joe could check back, or Vanessa. I always thought when we awarded a bid, it was in the form of a resolution, but I could be mistaken. And I don't know how pressed for time they are on this. You know, we started autumn, and
Right.
I wouldn't want to hold them up by a week. Is it possible we could give our approval and then make it more formal next week with a resolution?
Why don't we, what we could do potentially is we could make a motion, form a very basic language that either Joe or Vanessa can take down. We'll give a resolution number to it, and we can compile the actual
Correct.
written text after the meeting.
Yeah, that'd be
Right.
fine with me.
All right. And just for process wise, do we vote on these right now, or do we push that to the resolution?
I'd say you
process?
push it to the resolution process. That'd be my suggestion.
So
Okay.
Vanessa, what would that resolution number be?
290.
And you correctly noted that, and I think Debbie was here last week, we only had one bid. This is it.
Right.
But I didn't know what bridge it was for.
It's for all the bridges,
Oh, okay.
all the county-owned bridges. My understanding is they go out and examine the approaches to either side of the bridge if they need some adjustment or asphalt or what have you.
Right.
That's my understanding.
All right. So we'll move on with that. We'll make that resolution. And again, when we go to make the motion, we'll include this very general, broad verbiage,
Right.
which is incorporated into an actual text document. We'll make that resolution 2020-290. Up next, we have two warrant registers to vote on, one from September 23rd, 2020, one from September 25, 2020. Look at my colleagues and let's look those over and take a motion to accept. The Bank of New York Mellon, I'm
That's-
assuming that's a bond repayment?
Okay, I was digesting that number.
Which comes out of, I believe, we have a dedicated millage rate to repay that debt service.
Yes.
I know we also have a sizable amount going to the Newcastle area school district. My assumption is that's a result of the tax sale.
Mhm. I will move to accept the warrant registers.
Second.
You have a motion of second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Questions on the motion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. On deck next, minutes and correspondence, we have approval of the Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020 meeting minutes. I'll give my colleagues a minute to look those over, and then I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move for the approval of the minutes.
And I will second.
Hearing a motion and a
Yes.
second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, the same sign, motion carries. We have one written communication, excuse me, a Act 97 notice from International Metal Reclamation Company LLC in Elwood City Borough, which is a Class 1 permit modification of waste analysis plan. Notice, I'll summarize, reads, I notice it's addressed to Moon Township. I'm assuming we received a forwarded copy.
Well,
There we go.
yeah,
We're CC'd on it. Usually these are addressed to us. I guess the prime was a Mr. Basilone and Moon Township, but I guess this constitutes notification for us as well. But the letter reads, Dear Mr. Basilone, I am pleased to enclose the attached permit modification for permit number PA, I'm not gonna read that, for the operation of your hazardous waste management facility is issued in accordance with Act 97 Pennsylvania Solid Waste Management Act. Modification approves the following. Waste analysis plan has been modified in accordance with Class 1 permit modification dated May 15, 2020, revised July 1, 2020, and September 4, 2020. I'll take a motion to accept and file correspondence.
So moved.
second.
Hearing a motion and a second, do we have any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign, motion carries. We do have a proclamation and certificate. Oh, we have a 100th birthday in Lawrence County.
Yes. How about that?
That's an awesome, I don't know, I want to say achievement, but milestone.
Correct.
But this proclamation is for a Mr. Warren Miller. The proclamation reads, whereas Warren Miller was born on October 5th, 1920, and whereas Warren Miller was in the Army Air Corps Master Sergeant Ground Crew during World War II, and whereas Mr. Miller was a farmer in Eastbrook and farmed wheat and oat and was also a carpenter, and whereas Warren Miller liked to collect antique tools, and whereas Warren Miller married the love of his life, Helen, and they had 3 children, and whereas Warren Miller will be blessed with a birthday parade on October 5, 2020 at 2 p.m. at Quality Life Services. Now therefore be it resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that we do hereby congratulate Warren Miller on his 100th birthday and wish him happiness and good health in all the years to follow. It's not often you reach that milestone.
Correct.
And it seems to me, just reading this resolution, that he has to date had a wonderful life
Yes.
in service to his country and residing in Lawrence County.
Yes.
So
Fabulous.
I will take a motion to make that proclamation.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Wish him
Yes,
many more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He deserves a parade every birthday from now on.
Yes, he does. He might be. I think we only have a couple of, what's the term for three digits?
Centenarians?
Centenarians.
I think we only have a couple. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that, but I think we have a couple of them, only a couple of them in Lawrence County. So it's good to have one to the race.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Happy birthday.
Motion and a second, no further discussion. We'll just do it by a vote, voice vote.
Yes.
Question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries, proclamation passes. Up next, we have staff reports. Is there any member of staff here who wishes to report on anything above and beyond what's already included in the agenda? Tracy, got nothing else?
No.
Just want to make sure.
Tracy, it's all you. You take the floor, the chair, the mic, whatever you want to do. Today is the day for you.
Moving on, we'll move on to the commissioner reports and comments. Dan, you're on deck first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, but I don't have anything today.
All right. I'm gonna follow in those same shoes. I have nothing as well.
Well, I always do. We know that, right? Anywho.
Just, the census is winding down. There was an extension to the 31st of October. We don't know how long that will go since there was some objection to it through the court systems. But if you just even go with, today, tomorrow, do the best that you can to get out there. It's, $2,000 per person lost to the county for those that do not register for the census. So we need to have that as our ever-changing demographics in Lawrence County. We need as much assistance as we could possibly get to help those that are in need in our county. And then also just an update with voting. I spoke with our voter services director at Ellison this morning. There are 10,000 mail-in ballots ready to get packaged up and sent on their way. The ballots are in. Remember that we had to wait on the balloting because of the court case with the Green Party. That's done and taken care of. The ballots are here. They are ready, set to go, and those will be distributed throughout this week. So look forward to those of you who did register to receive their ballot by mail. They will be in the mail. Last day to register to vote is October 19th. The application's online, or you could stop at Voter Services to get your application. One thing I do want to note is, even if you get a lot of applications, people have been saying they're getting applications in the mail to vote, and it ties back into that, voter fraud, or, too many people getting ballots. They're not ballots, they're just applications. I look at it like, when open enrollment comes to the insurance exchanges, you start getting all of that information. Everybody wants to send you information wanting to make sure that you're there and you're voting. These applications, they're just an application to apply for a mail-in ballot. They are not the ballots. And you will get, I've gotten 4 of them myself. And if you've turned one in, or if you've registered online, you certainly don't have to do another one. That creates a bit of a backlog with our voter services, where they have to go into the computer and check it out and then realize it's a duplicate. So there are other checks and balances are there to make it a secure process. But that's what I liken it to. So they're not coming from the government. We're not paying for those to go out to you. Those are just individual organizations that are encouraging, the vote or the vote by mail. So that being said, if you choose to vote by mail, it's easy, flexible, and convenient. If you choose to go to the polls on November 3rd, that is still an option for you too. But either way, make sure you exercise that right to go vote. Thank you.
Absolutely. Also, to tie off of that for a second, I have not come across one scientific academic study that indicates in any way, shape, or form that mail-in voting is more susceptible to fraud than in-person voting. It's a perfectly safe, perfectly valid, perfectly reasonable way to vote.
There you go. Thank you.
Anybody who says differently is doing it for the purpose of stirring up fear.
And we don't need that. We don't need that. Thank you. Okay.
Up next, we have our new resolution section. It's fairly short today compared to our mental health bonanzas.
Yes, let's get through these, right?
First up, we have resolution discussion for possible approval to extend the term of exemptions in Keystone Opportunity Expansion Zone, or KOEZ, or Keystone Opportunity Improvement Zone, KOIZ. This relates to the development at RIBC Park in Neshannock Township. I think the easiest thing to do here would actually just be to read the provisions of the KOZ extension. I'll note that the school board and the township have voted on this, both of which have voted in the affirmative, and both of which passed the KOZ extension. We are the last taxing body to act on this, and there is currently one in place. But the resolution reads, this would be the effect of the extension. The term of the extended parcel is extended for a period of 10 years from the date of occupancy of the extended parcel or expiration of the KOEZ. Whichever occurs first is determined by the department. The following provisions shall apply to the extended term once the extended parcel is occupied. 1, real property on the extended parcel is 100% exempt. Such exemption to terminate on December 31, 2030. The following shall be exempt in accordance with provisions and limitations set forth in the Act relative to the extended parcel. business gross receipts for tax operations conducted by a qualified business within the extended parcel, business privilege tax, tax on the earned income received by the resident of the extended parcel, tax on the net profits of a qualified business attributable to business activity conducted within the expansion zone, mercantile license tax attributable to business activity by a qualified business conducted within the extended parcel, tax on occupancy or use within the extended parcel, sales tax and use tax for purchase, used, and consumed by a qualified business within the extended parcel, benefits to begin on January 1, 2021 and to end on December 31, 2030. The provisions of this act are not herein enumerated shall nevertheless be incorporated as part of this resolution by reference, and this resolution shall be effective upon execution conditioned upon the approval of DCED of the application. I'll note this is a state incentive program structured through the Department of Community and Economic Development. It effectively, the program allows for a designated parcel or parcels of property. If a business were to locate in those parcels, they'd be eligible for the tax exemptions that I just mentioned, the tax exemptions being both state and local tax exemptions. So, and Dan, I'll also note that, as a member of the RIDC board, is there anything that you want to add to this? It's a phenomenal development.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to note, as you stated, I do serve on the RIDC Board of Directors. I do not receive compensation for serving on that board. Accordingly, I spoke with our solicitor and explained that fact to him and said, the fact that I'm on the board, but I'm not paid to be on the board, does that create any type of issue that would require my recusing myself? And he said he felt it did not. He said, obviously, if I were a paid board member, it'd be a different story. So I do want to enter that fact into the record. I appreciate your comments. The facility out on State Route 18 near Glen Road has done very, very well. A lot of nice businesses are located in that facility. I'll close with the fact that RIDC is a regional entity, but there are only 4 counties outside of Allegheny that have RIDC facilities within their borders. Ourselves, Greene County, Indiana County, and Butler County. The Thornhill Industrial Park straddles the border. Part of it's in Allegheny, part of it's in Butler, but in the 10-county area, we're one of the few that are fortunate to have such a facility. So I would certainly support this proposal. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I'll also note, I believe in the 10-county region, the only county that's represented on that board outside of Allegheny County is Lawrence County in terms of a commissioner representative, which I think is phenomenal in terms of our ability to influence economic development on a regional scale.
And they used to, before he retired, my very good friend Rod Ruddick from Indiana County was on that board, but he retired. And I always said, and I said it as recently as the last RIDC board meeting, I always felt Rod Ruddick, of all the commissioners I knew in the state, I always thought he was the best. And I was sorry to see when he retired, but he's no longer on the board, so we miss him. But thank you again.
All right, we'll make that resolution. Is there any objections? We'll make that resolution 2020-291. I'll also note that the state is phasing out that program. In other words, only current KOZ zones are eligible for renewal. With the state phasing that program out, at least in the immediate future, there will be no new KOZ zones enacted by the state. I'll also note that the second site in Lawrence County as a KOZ site is Millennium Park. From my understanding, that site will not be renewed as a KOZ. Up next, domestic relations. Tracy, resolution for discussion and possible approval to enter into an agreement with HH Contracting to provide preventative maintenance to Space Saver Mobility Shelving Unit.
Yes.
Is this another thing that's got the automation going?
No, this one is actually manual. You have to
Oh, great
crank
job.
crank the wheel to
It's
make
less
this one
exciting
move.
than.
Okay.
This is a one-year contract that would be effective November 1st, 2020 through October 30th, 2021. It is $950 for the year, and it is the same amount that it was last year. And it does cover all the parts and everything when they come in to service it if we need service, but they come in twice a year to inspect it,
Okay.
to make sure that it's okay, so.
Domestic relations, you guys receive a sizable amount of state funding. What is it, 65, 30?
66%,
66%? So is 66% of this covered through state funding?
yes,
There we go. So we're paying, how much did you say again?
it's $950.
150. So we're paying about 313, roughly. All right, well, I have no further questions, anything from my colleagues? We'll make that, unless there's any objection, resolution 2020-292. You're welcome to stick around for that vote if you wish. I don't see there being any issues with it, so you've got to take off, we understand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, simple budget amendment, resolution for discussion and possible approval to adjust the existing fiscal year 2020 budget to account for additional revenue from the Ag Preservation Board in the amount of $1,716. We received an Ag Preservation grant, and this is just simply adjusting for that grant. Any comments?
Good.
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, we'll make that resolution 2020-293. And we have a number of administrative transfers. I will ask under item E, there's an item that states commissioners contingency, commissioners from jail contingency to jail salary of overtime. I would like to wait before making that transfer until next meeting. I received notification while I was out of office. There seems to be a discrepancy with the controller's office with regards to some of our fund transfers. And we want to get that sorted out before we make any official action, at least I would think. Is that agreeable?
Yes,
That's fine.
absolutely, sure.
Morgan.
Yeah.
He did sign that one. That one he was okay with.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Yeah, I just don't
Okay.
want to, I don't want to transfer any,
Okay.
if the goal is to limit, or at least hold accountable individuals over at the jail for already exceeding their annual allotment of overtime dollars, I don't want to transfer any more overtime dollars until those issues are resolved. It's my personal take on it. But that being said, we have 4 transfers, one from MHDS for miscellaneous admin expense to postage for $160. What did you guys show?
It was COVID related. We had a lot more mailing than our typical year than we anticipated.
So you didn't box up G and send her to California?
I've tried. No.
She keeps getting returned.
All right, I figure that's a pretty, any questions, comments?
Fine.
Up next from the courts, we have a transfer from the court contingency to equipment maintenance of $2,500 and from jurors to equipment maintenance of $2,500. This is funds needed to cover monthly expenses. There must have been an increase or a staggering increase in one of our maintenance contracts because I'm noticing this is coming up more and more.
Right.
Any questions, comments?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
And last up, we have $20,000 from our contingency fund into general administration. This is just to provide us with some more flexible dollars that we're able to expend on some of the smaller items that come up that require a degree of flexibility, a budgetary flexibility.
Correct.
And then we'll hold off on the other.
Yes.
So with these, I'll take a motion to approve the aforementioned transfer of funds.
So moved.
Second. Hearing a motion in a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries, funds are hereby transferred. Next, I'll take a motion to allow for voting on resolutions 2020-290 through 2020-293.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, the same sign, motion carries. First on the slate, we have resolution 2020-290. I'll take a motion on that, and I've asked that motion to be worded in a way that we can.
With language to follow.
Yeah.
Correct. So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I apologize.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2020-291. This resolution states, now therefore be resolved by the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, effective this date, September 29, 2020, contingent only upon DCD's approval of the application for proposed term of the extended parcel of the existing KOZ. The term of the extended parcel extended for a period of 10 years from the date of occupancy of the extended parcel or the expiration of the KOZ, whichever occurs first is determined by the department. The rest of this resolution I read previously, so I'm not going to go back over it.
Correct.
But I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion in a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, questions on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2020-292, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to authorize approval of a contract with HH Contracting at 133 Fairview Avenue, Economy, PA 15003 for all parts, labor, and maintenance of the shelving unit as noted in the attached contract. The agreement will be in effect for the period November 1, 2020 through October 31, 2021. Chairman of the Board of Commissioners authorized to sign all documentation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Hearing a motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And finally, resolution 2020-293, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2020 Lawrence County budget as follows: increasing general fund ag preservation board revenue account by $1,716, increasing general fund ag preservation board expense account by $1,716. And again, this is due to receive a grant. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second with a comment. And perhaps you both were told as well. I was advised by one of the members of the Ag Preservation Board that the Musser property matter has been resolved.
Oh, good.
Okay. I don't know the details. I was simply told it's been
yes.
resolved.
So that's hopefully positive development.
I hope so.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, and now we have, I believe we have an ordinance
Yes.
for introduction. Ordinance number 2 of 2020, which is establishing an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance number 107 of 1991, an ordinance of the County of Lawrence prohibiting discrimination and harassment, sexual or otherwise, in county workplaces. I'll note this was advertised legally on September 26th, 2020. And I'll read the front page. Notice is hereby given to repeal and replace ordinance 107 of 1991, an ordinance of County of Lawrence prohibiting discrimination and harassment, sexual or otherwise, in county workplaces. The proposed changes will be introduced on September 29, 2020 as Commissioners Bill number 2 of 2020 and update the ordinance of the County of Lawrence prohibiting discrimination and harassment, sexual or otherwise, in county workplaces. A complete copy of the proposed changes to ordinance number 107 of 1991 is available at Newcastle News Office and Chief Clerk's Office. Any comments regarding the proposed amendments to ordinance number 107 of 1991 shall be sent to the Chairman of County Commissioners of Lawrence County Government Center, 430 Port Street, Newcastle, PA 16101, no later than October 6th of 2020. I'll note that when Solicitor Medor assumed his role, he's sort of pouring over some of our structural ordinances.
Yes.
Just for his review, making sure they're as up to date as possible, making sure they follow all the applicable standards of the modern labor law and modern practices. This is just simply a housekeeping revision, which updates our sexual harassment ordinance, bringing it into normal standards with what's accepted in the year 2020. So
I think it should be noted that it's certainly, I think, a timely thing to do, given that the original ordinance is almost 30 years old. I also make note of the fact that when it was adopted by that particular board, Commissioner Verderano and Commissioner Wagner signed it, and Commissioner Vitrell chose not to sign it, if you look on the last page.
Oh, didn't think that far, interesting.
Well, I've heard some stories.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What do we just motion to table this? Or what's the procedure?
Yeah, that's more, and then it'll be where you see item C, that'll come up next week.
Okay. I will take a motion then, to table this ordinance for final action to occur next week.
So moved.
Second. Could we perhaps just double check with the solicitor? Because rules governing ordinances, sometimes there's maybe a somewhat longer time frame. I'm sure he's looked at it, but Joe, could we maybe just double check? I wouldn't want to adopt it too early.
Right.
But if it's just this 1 week period, and Commissioner Boyd was correct in noting that it has been appropriately advertised legally in the newspaper, but if we could just make certain,
Right.
because I'll certainly support it next week if that's permissible based on the rules governing the passage of ordinances.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That sounds good. We have a motion, and Dan, I believe you seconded that, right?
I believe I did, yes.
Yes.
Motion is second. Let's do a voice vote. Any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Proposed ordinance number 2, 2020 is tabled for next meeting. Announcements. Our next regularly scheduled commissioners meeting is at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, October 6th in this room. I'll also note that starting next week, we will be having weekly election board meetings. The first one, which would occur on October 6th, will occur before the commissioners meeting. So I believe that started at 8:30 on October 6th. All subsequent ones will occur immediately after the Board of Commissioners meets. And again, that will be just to discuss all of the ongoing issues,
Right.
problems, questions that Director Allison might have in relation to administering the general election.
Yes.
Am I missing anything?
I think that's it.
No, I
I
think that.
can't think of anything.
I do want to note, I'm attempting this week to take some vacation. I did
Yes.
take yesterday off and probably will be ducking out. I mentioned to, you're about the only one that doesn't know this, I got my second shingles vaccine yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And they say used to be when you hit 60, now they say when you turn 50, you should get a shingles vaccine.
Right.
And it's a 2-step process. So I had one about 2 months ago, and my arm was a little sore. Boy, yesterday I got all the symptoms, fatigue, muscle aches. Yeah, I'm just a little bit worn out today from that shot. But Friday, and I sent you each an email. We've been invited to the Realtors Builders
Yes.
Legislative Breakfast. And then I've got another meeting that day, actually, up in Venango County, the Northwest
Right.
Planning Commission's meeting. So I sent, oh my goodness, our friend out in Hickory Township, who oversees the, Amy Kunzelman, thank you. My apologies, Amy, if you're listening. I sent Amy an email and I sent you an email saying I'm not gonna be able to make it, but I think, did you folks go last year? Were you invited to the one they had last year? It's always a breakfast, used to be held at the country club.
When was it held last year, do you remember?
I think the country club, but no, it wouldn't have been because
They were closed.
they were closed. Well, it's a nice affair. You get people from the Builders Association
Right.
and certain realtors. And usually either Senator Vogel and Representatives Sonato, Wentling, and
Okay.
Bernstein, sometimes they send representatives. The questions are principally geared towards state legislation.
Right.
It was either last year or the year before, Congressman Kelly attended. Might have been 2 years ago. But it's a nice affair. And I'm not sure if you're both able to go or not, but it is a very nice affair. It's very informative.
Is it regional then?
Just the county.
Just the county?
Just the county.
So
Yeah.
it parallels what we did with the warrants, the
Yes.
specific warrants.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Exactly. I think you'll enjoy it.
Good food.
Good breakfast, the
Good
times,
breakfast.
yeah.
Because that's the only reason, that's my number one reason to go.
Scrambled eggs, sausage, the whole works.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hot browns or home fries, do you have hot sauce? Probably.
Bring your own packet.
I might have to, I get mine shipped up from Florida.
Oh my gosh.
Never tell you. It's a story for another day.
For sure. Okay,
Any more
that's it, I think.
public comments? Seeing none, trying to get us out of here in a timely fashion for that press conference outside.
Right,
I'll
right.
take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, hearing a motion second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, question of the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same side. Motion carries, Lawrence
Okay.
County Board of Commissioners adjourned.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
Debbie, you want my packet?
Thank you.
Yours to keep. There we go. Well, I might go home and take a nap.
Yeah, that's interesting, the SAG, I mean, for you having to go through that, but since I'm gearing up for my shingle shot.
Like I said, the first one was okay. Did you say you've had the shot? Oh, you have?
Actually, that's shingles.
Oh.
I did too, I
I'd rather have these symptoms than from what I've heard about people who've had shingles.
Did you get them again?
Oh, can you?
No, I get shingles often.
They did tell me that this vaccine is once and done.
Yes,
Because
that's it, once and done.
I said, do I have to come back in 5 or 10 years? I said,
Yeah, that's it.
do like
I'll recover.
I actually
You
do get,
will, but still, it's, you're not that person that, is